Coming up on Yes, We're Open. A custom furniture maker moves his business from the Bay Area to Stockton. Meet an entrepreneur whose lifelong passion is to get America fit. Discover the story behind a Thai restaurant that's been a staple in Sacramento for nearly 20 years. And a dance studio owner fulfills her dream while inspiring the next generation. It's all next on Yes, We're Open.
Yes, We're Open is made possible by
Community. Look around yours and you'll see safe everywhere. We helped grow that small business on the corner, gave your neighbor's daughter a scholarship, provided needed funding for healthcare research, and even planted trees in your local park. We're proud to be a part of your community, and we want to help you keep it all safe. Discover all the ways that SAFE is helping to support the people and places in our community. Stop by your local SAFE branch or visit us online.
You know, I don't want to get to my finish line. I'm 71 years old and say, gee, I have all these regrets. But rather, I go inside to my heart, which is the most important muscle that we have. And I ask my heart, what draws you forward? And that led me to being a multiple-time entrepreneur. My dream is to get America fit. And I decided to start with Sacramento, which is my hometown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Sally Edwards thought opening an athletic shoe store would be the key to helping people get fit. In 1976, Sally and her friend Elizabeth Jansen, both teachers at the time, were the two entrepreneurs who launched Fleet Feet, one of California's first athletic shoe stores.
We were two women. We were both 28 years old, so we were young. We had little business experience.
They bought a beat-up Victorian in one of Sacramento's poorest neighborhoods at the time.
We had $2,000, and it was selling for $22,000, so we put our 10% down. We fixed it up, and then we went to had it appraised, and it was appraised for like $20,000 more, and we went to the bank and borrowed $20,000. And Elizabeth and I bought a whole bunch of shoes. Everything was wrong about the whole formula, but it worked.
They opened June 1st, 1976.
We had never run a business, and all these things we were learning, we made a lot of mistakes. And when we did $100, which was 5 pairs of shoes, at roughly, typically there were $20 a pair, I mean, that many years ago, we had a great day. We got better and better and better and learned a lot, and I'll never be more appreciative than those first customers that came in our doors, because they were golden.
After 6 months, their business started taking off, and Fleet Feet grew into much more than just an athletic shoe store. It became an integral part of Sacramento's fitness community. They began sponsoring and creating local races, like Sacramento's first marathon, triathlon, and fun runs. With the success of their first store, Sally and Elizabeth decided to open a second store in Chico. It was around this time when Sally considered franchising their business.
So in 1986, Elizabeth and I had a conversation, and I wanted to grow the company substantially, and she was happy with the way it was. And she said, no, I think I'd like to sell to you. So she sold to Fleet Feet for a really reasonable price, and I owned 100% of it, and I said, let's rock and roll.
The business took off. By 1993, Fleet Feet had 42 locations across the country and was doing nearly $20 million in sales. However, in the midst of all this success, Sally had a change of heart.
You know, I was ready not to be Fleet Feet and to be Sally. I was writing books, I was racing competitively and professionally, and ran on the Olympic trials and the marathon. And I said, you know, I'm running retail stores, I've got this busy life, I don't have much of a personal life, and I'm ready for that. And something needed to go, and Fleet Feet was was the one that really could use the attention.
At 45 years old, Sally decided it was time to let go of her business of 17 years.
You know, when it's your baby and you found it and you grew it to an adolescence, and then you're going to kind of kick it out of the house and let it go, yeah, emotionally it was hard, and there was sadness around that. And today there's a lot of happiness that that same DNA still exists in every single one of those Fleet Feets.
And so began a new chapter in her life.
You know, when I sold Fleet Feet, it was kind of like, you know, I've got enough money now to live the rest of my life if I want to, or I could invest it in the next business.
Which is exactly what she did. In 1993, Sally started a new company called Heart Zones, a fitness lifestyle company she runs to this day.
Today, Heart Zones has grown to be a fitness technology, a fitness education, and a fitness training company. So our technology can show that you're getting healthier.
All right, Sarah, you want to be two? Number two?
From the moment you strap on the wearable device,
We're going to put it right here. There you go. Strap it up.
the technology delivers heart rate data and performance metrics in real time.
Let's see some colors up there. All right, we're going to be working in the yellow-orange zone. You want to hang out in that yellow-orange zone during these stations.
And your workout statistics are projected on a screen.
10 seconds. If you're on a set, finish it real quick. Perfect.
Athletic clubs and schools across the country are using Heart Zones technology.
3, 2, 1, and rest.
Technology is incredible. I love it. And I just say, bring it on. Give me whatever is new, I want it. I think one of my messages is about age. Entrepreneurship typically is thought of as this young person's business format, and it's not. You can be an entrepreneur your whole life, or you can start when you're 71. Every single day you have a day, it's precious. Live it fully and live it healthy.
You would think for someone who's accomplished so much in her life, she would want to slow things down a bit. Not quite.
Slow is not a word in my vocabulary. It probably should be, but I've got a lot to do. People say, hey, Sal, you're 71, are you going to retire? And I look at them kind of with that surprise. No, I love what I do every day. I'm going to keep going down this road of staying on track and staying focused and doing what really touches my heart.
More and more women are becoming entrepreneurs. Studies show the number of women-owned businesses grew 114% from 1997 to 2017. There are now 11.6 million female-owned businesses in the U.S. Women currently make up 40% of new entrepreneurs.
I remember when I was about 7 seeing The Wizard of Oz on television, and there was a step that they did going down the yellow brick road. I remember just being determined to learn that step. I am Deirdre Hawkins, owner and director of the Hawkins School of Performing Arts in Folsom. I've always loved dance. And arms, a 1 knee and a 2 and 3, elevate and a 1. I began taking dance when I was 7 years old. And by the time I was 17 years old, I went to San Francisco Ballet School. I love to teach and I love to choreograph. So my finding myself in this place at this time in my life, it just really means to me that it was meant to happen. When I was graduating from high school, I thought, here I go. I'm finally going to be able to devote every day and every hour to ballet. I took the direction of becoming a dance major in college, and I concluded those studies with a master's degree in education. When I finally graduated in 1980, I met my son's father and married, and that didn't work out. So I was at a crossroads in my life at that point. Being a single mother, I decided to move to Folsom, which was closer to where my parents lived. When I went for the job interview, I had a feeling I was going to get the job. I knew that if I were to accept this job, that would be it, and I would never pursue my dream of having a dance studio. I was awaiting for the call. The phone rang. I was offered the job. All this energy was being built up inside me that this is a moment of truth. I burst out into tears and I said, I'm sorry, I just can't accept this job because I want to open a dance studio. There was this Montessori school that was going out and it was going to be up for rent. When I looked in the window, I had a flashback of my very first ballet school, so I thought this is a sign, and I rented it. I really had no idea what I was in store for. The first 5 years were an incredible struggle, but I just kept loving what I was doing. I just think I'm just doggedly determined to work through the problems that I'm faced with every day.
Is there a room availability Thursday night at 8?
The biggest hurdle I had to overcome being a business owner was the business itself. I had absolutely no experience in business. It was only in the arts. That's been the hardest thing to learn, and to wear the different hats. Hi, Monica, how are things going?
Good. You have a couple messages.
Okay. What I believe keeps me going day after day and year after year is the sense that I am doing what I was meant to do with my life. The most important thing to me about the studio is my relationship with my students. I've seen them grow from 3 years old all the way through high school, and to see them grow each year and make dance a part of their life is so fulfilling to me. When a student walks in the door, I don't think of them as just taking class here. I think of them as investing in a journey.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Dance training does instill in the growing child a sense of physicality, of the boundaries of what their body can do, how strong it can be, how athletic it can be. That is so gratifying to me to see that dance can do that much for an individual. What is so wonderful about teaching is that you plant a seed in a child for their love of dance. And I see them grow year after year and become more skilled and loving it, then I know that it's all worth it. So I started out with one student, and now when I look out from the control room on some of the performances and there's 75 dancers on stage and a full auditorium, I am taken back at the path that I've been on since that one day in 1987 when that little girl appeared at the door. What's most gratifying about owning this business is that I feel I'm fulfilling my destiny. All the business and all the difficulties, it's worth every minute of it for these moments. Armano 6 and 7. Good.
It wasn't my idea, and it wasn't even what I wanted. Looking back, Mom knows best. She always knows that that's the career that I will end up taking.
There was a point in Suleika's son Lily's life where she was juggling a successful architecture career while helping her mother and sisters with the family's Thai restaurants.
I knew that I couldn't do both of them together very long, so I had to decide to do just one.
It's been nearly 25 years since Suleika made the decision to stay in the family business.
You have to make the family work, and we were lucky enough to be able to make that work for us.
It was Suleika's mother who was the driving force behind creating the successful restaurants, which many diners consider to be a staple in the Sacramento region. Although her mother recently retired and returned to Thailand, Suleika and her sister continue keeping their mother's entrepreneurial dream alive. Today, Suleika's sister manages the original Thai Basil in Roseville, while Suleika is the owner and chef of Thai Basil in midtown Sacramento. The restaurant industry might not have initially been Suleika's first choice, but after being in it for most of her life, she's developed her natural talent as a chef.
You have to be a problem solver all the time because the pace of the restaurant never stops. It's always going.
You got noodle already heat up? Okay. 2 and 2, right?
It's like you try to get the whole unit to work synchronously with so many parts moving at the same time.
แล้วก็พี่จะเอานึ่งใส่ถาดใส่กล่องต่างหาก Okay, next.
And a lot of time you have no control over.
Oh, shoot.
You just have to be able to spot what doesn't work and you get to fix it.
Okay.
There's a lot of hard work that get into it. In restaurant, you have to be crazy. First, you have to be crazy enough to get in it. You have to be even more crazy to stay in it.
Much of what Suleika has learned is from her mother, and she remains faithful to her mother's traditional ways of cooking. Just like her mom, she gathers fresh ingredients from local farmers markets. And she makes all the sauces and curries from scratch.
Give me a couple more peppers.
Sure.
Looking back, I was younger. Me and my mom's always like this when we were working together. I was looking for a way to make it easier, faster. Can we just buy the curry paste? She said, no, we can't. And my mom's just like, there's no shortcut. And whenever I try to do the shortcut, I can hear my mom's voice in the back of my head. It's just like, no shortcut. I think what resonates with customers is the Thai hospitality. Here we go.
Good seeing you, too.
Good seeing you. The first impression is come to our home.
Bear with me, my first day on the job.
Really? When it comes to Thai food, people don't want to go out of their comfort zone trying different things. They want to stay with the dish that they like.
Suleika had a desire to do more than offer just the traditional Thai menu items.
You want to order of spring roll then? Or just one?
She began offering seasonal dishes with gluten-free options.
I get kind of discouraged that people don't order my seasonal menu because they always wanted to eat the basic menu that we have. So I decided, you know, I want to incorporate what I like, and I want to introduce people with the healthier food.
Meals that focused less on meat and more on veggies. Yet that was a bit of an issue as well.
If you remember the movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding or something, said, I don't eat meat. Oh, we have lamb. You know, it's the same thing in Thai people. Oh, you don't eat meat? We have chicken.
She actually became so discouraged, she decided to step back and reevaluate her life.
I took a break for 2 years. I went to Thailand and just kind of go back to my root and just go and do a lot of soul searching.
When she returned from Thailand, she asked herself,
if I get to do over again, what would that be?
Her answer? Veg Cafe. In 2016, she transformed the space above Thai Basil into a restaurant with distinct seasonal vegetarian and vegan dishes. Suleika's 2 restaurants are a culmination of her love for a healthy lifestyle, design, family, and traditional Thai values, all under one roof.
I get people ask, do I miss the architecture, or do I miss design? I said, anything that you like, you can always incorporate that into your everyday life.
So after making that fateful decision years ago, does she feel like it was a sacrifice? Not at all.
At the end of the day, your family always comes first.
What is the average age of an entrepreneur? Is it A, 42, B, 34, or C, 27? The answer A, 42 years old. Contrary to popular belief, the average entrepreneur is older than the typical age range for millennials, 16 to 36.
I've definitely been called an old soul, and yeah, I'll take that. People have a natural desire to put you in one category or another. Are you a designer? Are you a craftsperson? Are you a woodworker? Are you an artist? And so from a branding perspective, it's difficult to kind of like defy those conventions and have like a little bit of a hand in all those things. So I'm looking for probably a bunch of 6-quarter stuff.
Okay.
Or,
Jared Rustin designs and hand-builds custom wood furniture in his studio in Stockton. Today he's visiting Robert Beauchamp's lumber barn in Woodland, looking for some very special and rare wood.
So like that level of figure that was in that board that we looked at.
Yeah, that's getting up towards the higher end.
California walnut, this Claro walnut, is really colorful. It has just like a variety of tones and textures and often is very heavily figured. So it has all of this personality.
The wood needs to be absolutely top quality. It will eventually be used to build one of his most sought-after pieces of furniture, a table in the shape of California. Once he's satisfied he's got what he needs, he loads the lumber into the back of his 1966 Ford Ranchero and makes the long trek back to Stockton. Jared's studio is housed in a 100-year-old building in downtown Stockton.
I know that as a furniture designer, I probably won't ever feel the type of success that maybe a band who comes up with the song of the summer. Like I won't experience that sort of universal appeal, but I feel very privileged to be able to make a living doing something that I love so much, that I'm so passionate about. I first thought of building a table shaped like California when I was living in Brooklyn. It was 2006. I needed a desk for myself, and I was just missing home. I was missing California. And so I built this desk in the shape of California. I just made it out of some scrap, and I posted some photos online, and immediately people were interested. After moving back from Brooklyn, I started selling these at least a couple a month. And the California series definitely paid my rent for a number of years. When I first started designing and building furniture, chairs were the things that I was most interested in. I can build a rocking chair, for example, that you can rock your children in as babies, and then they can rock their children in. And it becomes an heirloom, and it becomes part of the texture of a family's life.
In 2010, after moving around for several years, Jared decided to settle in downtown San Francisco. Not long after, he met his wife, Emily.
I was able to get a great lease in the Mission District in San Francisco and had a big, nice space.
The landlord, after living in our space in the Mission for 5 years, decided to double the rent.
Unable to continue paying their exorbitant rent, Jared and Emily started exploring other areas.
It was just coincidental that we were driving through Stockton one Sunday and encountered this kind of abandoned downtown with all these beautiful old structures that to us were very romantic. And we saw a blank canvas. We looked at a bunch of other properties and ultimately found this building, which is just a 5,000 square foot brick and timber building built in 1918. And like much of the downtown, it was just empty and vacant, and it had been totally neglected. So most people who would look at the space would discount it as just a teardown. But we saw the clear-storied windows, these beautiful timber trusses, the texture the patina of the brick walls, and we were in love immediately and knew that we wanted to bring this building back to life.
Jared and Emily were aware that downtown Stockton had, in many ways, fallen on hard times. But for them, that was actually part of the appeal.
The narrative, sort of the comeback story of Stockton is also compelling to us.
I feel like throughout my life and professional career, one of the things that's been the most satisfying to me is to take a thing that doesn't have much perceived value to most people and then to elevate it. Part of this blank canvas that drew us to Stockton was ability to hopefully create our own little district. We'd love to create a destination for design and for art. There's no question that we made the right move, and there's nowhere else that we'd want to be. And there's no other community that is, I think, more exciting than Stockton right now.
Yes, We're Open is made possible by
Community. Look around yours and you'll see safe everywhere. We helped grow that small business on the corner, gave your neighbor's daughter a scholarship, provided needed funding for healthcare research, and even planted trees in your local park. We're proud to be a part of your community, and we want to help you keep it all safe. Discover all the ways that SAFE is helping to support the people and places in our community. Stop by your local SAFE branch or visit us online.